The name says it all. An office dedicated to all things nerdy, retro and nostalgic, and tech that is out of this world. So get ready to feel like a kid again in today's YouTube Cribs with Colton, aka Nerd Nostalgia and Tech, and his Nostalgia Office. What's up, Nostalgia Nerds? And welcome to my crib. So this is what I dubbed the Nostalgia Office, where I shoot most of my videos. Now, this is actually the third rendition of the Nostalgia Office. Actually, one of the first videos on my channel of this nostalgia era was a tour of the original Nostalgia Office. Yes, this channel has been around a while, but I've only been recently able to fully commit to it. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a tour out of the Nostalgia Office 2.0. That is actually my upcoming baby's nursery at the moment, and actually the Furby's nursery in the last video, if you haven't seen that already. And this room actually used to be my wife and I's bedroom before we moved everything around for the baby. And it's likely the cleanest it will ever be. I did clean up a lot for this video, but if you see any dust or loose cords, just keep it to yourself. I tried, okay? But let's show you around. Oh, and be sure to subscribe. So the inspiration for this whole place kind of comes from Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. And to be honest, I've seen that movie maybe like once, but the overall whimsy of it just really stuck in my head. I just want there to always be something to look at. I want someone to walk in and feel the childish joy. I want bright colors. I want the toys to be showcased. I want to hear the constant, I remember that, or I forgot that existed. And if I had the time and if I owned the place, this would probably look even crazier than it does now. So I guess we'll kind of start with the entryway here, which this is one of the must-haves I needed for the office, because obviously with all the devices I have, there's just tons of cords and other knickknacks and whatnot. So just a way to organize this and have it mounted on the wall here. And you know, there's some fun other drawers in here too, like Diva Star clothes and other controller accessories and Plastic Man coming out of here too. And then having these on the wall just gives more display options. So, you know, we've got Beanie Baby over here. We've got custom Game Boy Advance Sword and Shield, as well as, you know, just some other little knickknacks there. We've also got the Burger King candles here too. And then I guess up top, we also have the 10-inch Grogu Funko Pop, so kind of life-size, I guess, as well as the Retro Kid Molly doll, which I'm just obsessed with, as well as the Moon shoes, which that was another very early video on this channel as well. And then down here is just like another display table, really. We've got a Lego Mjolnir that don't think I ever really built for the channel, just kind of did that myself. Of course, the original Alexa Diva Star. And then even further down here, Chelsea, don't have to worry about getting this. It's a shelf that I've been using of kind of things to shoot that are like in the queue. So right now we've got like a UV resin kit for Secret Project, as well as some other toys and a whole new McDonald's set back here, which maybe I'll give you a little glimpse of too. And then there's this kind of other shelving space here, which is mostly game storage and old CDs and cassettes and things like that. You can see right here actually all the Pokemon ROM hacks that I play on the channel. Then up here, we've got Bullseye Ball, obviously a classic. We've got this custom SNES that actually doesn't work, so that's great. We've got another hit of the channel recently, the McDonald's Spy Kids 2 Ralph Build-A-Figure, so that's fun. I like to keep that one around. As well as just a bunch of random Funko Pops, and I guess I'll point out at this point the Funko Pops that are lining the office on these shelves up here as well. I don't really collect Funko Pops as much as I used to, and I'm not the type of person that wants to like complete a set. I just kind of buy whatever really is cool or interests me. And then I guess now we'll move on over to the desk. This is just an arm I use for a lot of the overhead shots that you see on the channel, as well as my webcam, which I know a lot of you keep yelling at me for not going live, and to that I say, I'm sorry. And then up here, just some of the recent Pound Puppy cutie cuffs that I also did a little short on. And then I guess coming down to the desk, this kind of area is where I keep most of the devices that I just shot or that are in the queue kind of. So just a little bit of work on the iPod Classic. I just shot the RG406H. Keep the analog pocket here, which is rockin'. Pokemon Unbound has been my game of choice recently. And then this here is a ring light that I use. It's made by Canvas. I mean, the ring light itself is pretty standard, but down here is just like a hefty base. I also kind of use the base as like another display area. So right here we have the Funko Pop retro toys collection, so Play-Doh, Polly Pocket, and Barrel of Monkeys. And then next to that is a Google Home Hub, because everything in the apartment and in the office is connected to the Home Hub, so it's all voice activated, control it with my phone. Even like the TV that we'll get to over here, the retro one, is also connected to the smart home. And then this is my monitor of choice. This is a BenQ 4K 32-inch monitor. I've had it for a really long time now, and honestly, this thing is just such a beast. I have a Chromecast hooked up here too, and it's on this arm to kind of give, you know, more desk space and just kind of looks cool. And then I also just keep a bunch of other tchotchkes on the desk. So we've got Troy Bolton Funko Pop, because what theater kid in middle school didn't want to be Troy Bolton? Furby Game Boy game. We've got the Cube World, which is just a big hit around here. And I guess another big hit, Crazy Bones too. This whole thing filled with Crazy Bones. And I keep these stack of keyboards here just because I think they look cool, and these are all made by High Ground. And if you don't know, some of the work I do outside of TikTok and YouTube is making content for other brands. So I worked in marketing a while, doing the 9-to-5 thing, making ads for different brands' social media. But now I freelance, essentially doing the same thing. So like I made a bunch of videos for High Ground. I made a bunch of videos for this company called Z-Wood for that piece that's hanging up over there. And you might also see me in some deodorant ads, flower ads, ads for a bunch of other foods, for Revel or Magic Spoon. So that's all like my main job outside of everything that you see here. They're not sponsored or anything. This is all work outside of all of this, but hey, I mean, the door's open if they do want to sponsor. And then above the monitor is, I guess, another pride and joy, and I guess we'll call this the nostalgia wall. So again, just another way to display all things nostalgia. I mainly put things up here that either I just shot, or if there was a YouTube video that kind of had like a center point piece. So like we have the world's blackest Game Boy right here. We have the mini long Furby along with the biblically accurate biblically accurate Furby angel guy, along with like my Stop Smoking coach, which I just did a video on. And then up here is actually a painting that I painted myself. It was one of those wine and paint nights, and I wouldn't really call myself like an artist in that way, but I really honed in on this picture of Danny Phantom, and I am very proud of it. And then just under that is this YouTube LED sign that YouTube actually sent me. Obviously, when you're a YouTuber, the main goal is to get, you know, that golden and silver play button. But YouTube also sends out these little gifts here and there for creators that are just under that. And then over here is kind of my ode to the MCU. I guess you could say I'm a big fan. So here's an Avengers poster that my parents got me that is signed by like everybody, including, I think that's Stan Lee right there too. And then here is a life-size Infinity Gauntlet made by Hot Toys and Sideshow Collectibles. And this is probably one of the dumbest purchases I've ever made in my life, but I remember the year that they announced this. I saved up, and I think probably like a year later, I decided to buy it. And you know, this is essentially the centerpiece of this whole office. It really wows everyone when they come in. It's like the first thing they see. And then up here are the Hasbro Infinity Gauntlets, the ones that you can actually like wear and move your fingers, though they have been demoted to essentially just hat holders. And then this whole area over here is where most of the shooting actually happens. Like this is mainly the background that you see. We'll start in this corner with this funky Memorex TV, which I dub the Game Sphere. Yes, I know it's not the actual Game Sphere used in the show. That was actually the sister product of this TV made by the same company. So it was a CD player. This is the TV version. I'm always looking for something that's like really out of the ordinary, which a spherical TV is. I often get asked what this little red shield does that's in front, and to be honest, I have no idea. Some people say it's for like to consume different content, but that also like covers up the speakers too, so I don't really know. This is a drawer full of games pretty much. Down here is a drawer full of controllers. Try to keep it organized, but obviously there is a lot going on in here. Oh, and I actually forgot to show you this drawer of mini Game Boys and this drawer of literal fast food toys, which again, just trying to keep up with the whimsy of everything. So this little area right here I call the stage. This is where I get most of the, you know, sexy B-roll that you see. I actually use the term Sexies, which I dubbed from Sorted Food. And this background is like constantly changing. Like right here, we have on display the latest McDonald's Minecraft movie meal collectibles. And then right here, I actually took out some handhelds to show off, which you've seen on the channel before, but we've got the Game Boy DS, we've got the Game Boy Advance SP Hybrid, and then we've got the portable GameCube as well. And now we'll move on to this monstrosity of a bookcase that has just tons going on. Down below, we have all the handhelds that I feature on this channel. I try to keep it as organized as possible. I try to get a hard case for everything. I try to label it as much as possible, yet still pretty disorganized down there, but you know, you do what you can. And then we'll just move our way up from there. We've got the custom whiteout N64 along with some N64 games. Really, this whole shelf is just like a major display shelf. Obviously, I have a custom Halloween Bulbasaur. We've got some McDonald's Furbies everywhere. We've got some Aqua Pets. We've got this old Pokedex. We've got the hairless Furby, a Barbie. Really just any little knickknack that I think is worth showing off is, you know, displayed right here. And then on this level is mainly, you know, the custom whiteout GameCube along with some NES and SNES games. Above them, we've got a couple Furbies, though we've seen enough of them recently, as well as this boombox, which I don't really use that often. Over here, we've got the McDonald's treasure map sphere, which was another big hit, along with a little knack-knack display, which maybe I should display that more up front. And then up top, got some McDonald's Funko Pops, recent Hamburglar one, which I am super into, some action figures on either side. We've got the McDonald's Lightspeed Rescue Megazord, a bunch of other gauntlets as well, obviously. And something that I forgot to mention is that all of these game systems that you see here are actually all hooked up via a maze of RCA cables to this switch over here, which then is plugged in to the retro TV over here, which pretty sick. And then lastly is this corner, which is kind of the problem child of the office, because this actually usually is out to about here or so, like really eating up like a solid quarter of the office. But really over here is just like different hauls, if a package comes in, different things from brands, just various storage, things to sell, like all of that just kind of lives over here. And like, I'll even pull back the curtain on this area if you just come with me for a second. This is actually all the stuff that I pulled out of the office for this video. Just kind of helps showcase the office a little bit better without having all the clutter in there. But that's about it for a tour of the Nostalgia office. It's a little small, but you know, you make it work. And it has the spirit of what I set out to accomplish in really every office space that I end up in. I really appreciate all the love that this channel gets. I'm just a guy out here trying to play with some old toys and old games and ultimately feel like a kid again myself. Hope you enjoyed the tour. Now get out. Along with the biblical,